Hi, my name is Kristen Call, and this is my presentation over case study number 3, which I have named Ivan's case for the purpose of this presentation. Now, a little bit about Ivan. Ivan is 6 years old. He has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and his behavior of concern is elopement. Now, tacting. So this intervention is based on tacting. Tacting is basically just labeling. So if I picked up a pen and I said, "What is it?" and you said pen, then that would be you tacting the pen. For this intervention, we are utilizing tacting different locations in an attempt basically to, if Ivan can start to tact what different locations are, then maybe we can do a tact-to-man transfer after that to decrease that elopement. Now, for this intervention, the multiple examples we're using for tacting different locations by using multiple or exemplar training is saying gym, the written word gym, and the real world location of a gym. Now, multiple exemplar training is just training with multiple examples of a given stimuli. And then we can increase his tact repertoires using multiple exemplar training. So for example, if I showed you a picture of a blue car and said, "What is it?" and you said car, and then I showed you a real world example of a car in a parking lot and said, "What is it?" and you said car, and then I showed you a picture of a race car and asked you what it was and you said car, then you would be tacting different examples of that car to help generalize and expand those tact repertoires. Like I said, for this given intervention, we are going to be using tacting multiple locations. So for the word gym, it'd be saying gym, written word gym, and real world location of a gym. Now we're going to do this using stimulus equivalence. Stimulus equivalence is just identifying relationships between non-identical stimuli without specific training. So they form these relationships. Some of them are through training, and then some of them are derived. So they're the result of not having specific training. So for example, I drew a diagram over here for the location gym. Reflexivity would just be, let's say if we started with the written word gym, and then we had the written word gym over here, and they could match the written word gym and another, like a typed but also written form of the word gym, and they can match that. Those equal the same thing. That'd be A equals A. That'd be reflexivity. Now, symmetry, if we teach that if we present Ivan with the written word gym and then he says gym in response, tacting it, that would be, and then he could do vice versa. So A equals B is what we taught. If he could also form the connection between B equals A, then that would be symmetry. Same thing over here, him saying gym when in the real world location of the gym and vice versa would be symmetry. Transitivity would be something that like we did not teach. He formed that connection by forming these other connections that we taught. So for this example, A, which is the written word gym, equals C, which is a real world location of the gym, and vice versa. That'd be transitivity because we did not teach that. Now for stimulus class is basically just stimuli that share common elements. In this case, these different locations would be arbitrary. So they evoke the same response, but they don't share all the common features. So a good example would be fruit. So bananas, apples, and oranges. They don't share all of the same features. They're not the same size, shape, all of those things, but they are a part of the same class. So the same thing for these are all arbitrary. So gym, room, bathroom, kitchen, not all the same thing, but they all are locations under the same stimulus class, and each form under here, so the written word gym, saying gym, and the real world location of a gym are all examples of the word gym, but they're not all exactly in the same form. The teaching procedure we have for Ivan, what we've basically done is let's say we take the written word gym and he's already established that reflexivity, and we teach him that if we hold up a sign that has the written word gym on it, such as this, and I say, what is it, or what does it say, something along those lines, and he says gym. So that would be the first connection that we teach. And then we teach him also when he is in the real world location of a gym, and he tacks gym in the real world location. We teach those things. So eventually, Ivan would then hopefully form the connection upon seeing a sign maybe of the written word gym, and then tacked that location is gym. Now that was not taught. So that'd be transitivity over here. We taught him that the written word gym equals gym, and then the real world location of the gym equals gym. This teaching procedure, basically to help with his elopement, we're teaching him those different generalized forms of each location in hopes then that that would expand his tact repertoire, like I said in the beginning, to help us maybe with a tact-to-man transfer in the future to then target that elopement. But if he does not have an extensive tact repertoire, then we cannot do that. Now, derived stimulus relations are basically just a relation between stimuli that is not directly trained. So the biggest example of that is transitivity. So on the diagram that I made over here, the derived relations are represented by the dotted lines. Now, like I said, we taught everything that has a solid line are the connections that we taught. For symmetry, if we taught just A equals B, and then he also made the connection that B equals A, now that would be something we didn't teach, but that was derived. Same thing down here. We taught him that the real world location of a gym equals gym. If he also understood that when someone said gym, that means the real world location of a gym, that would be symmetry. And then transitivity up here would be presented with that real world location of a gym, and then being able to possibly label the door with the correct sign, or if he were to see he was walking through school hallways and saw a sign with the written word gym on it, that he would know that that location was in turn the gym. We did not teach that, and so that would be each connection there would be derived. So symmetry has one derived connection, and then transitivity would have both are derived. And then that is my presentation over case study number 3, Ivan's case. I hope you enjoyed.